Okay, now we're going to talk about grading just a regular assignment. So I'm going to open up this Potter quiz to see what my student has turned in. And I'm also going to look at it on the iPad. So we're going to see both versions from the classroom app versus the computer version, because they are a little bit differently, and the iPad does give you one option that you can't do on the browser version. So when I'm looking at this, I see an image that's been attached, a PDF, and I see this assignment.note with this different kind of icon. If I want to go in and look at each of these attachments, I can click on it to see it. So same thing on the iPad. If I click on that same, oops, that's not the same one. If I click on that same one, I can see the picture there. I can click on the note option here on my computer, and I'm going to click on it on the iPad. The note option, this is a file from Notability. So the only way that I can view this file is by opening it in Notability on my iPad. So this particular portion of this assignment, I can't grade from my computer. So this will also be the same as if a student turns into you a Keynote file, a Pages file, a Numbers file. Those all live on an iPad. Those programs do. They're not living on your computer, so you're not going to be able to open them on your computer. So some things you may have to grade on your iPad depending on how you have the students turn it into you. Some things you may not be able to grade on your computer. So just keep that in mind. If I did have this open on my iPad and I needed to get it to be able to view it for grading, what I would do is tap in the upper right-hand corner on the Sharo. It's then going to open that it's going to open that file in Google Drive, and it's going to tell me it's unsupported because it's not a Google Drive, it's not a Google Sheet, it's not a Google Slide, it's not a Google Doc, so Google can't open it. It can only be opened in Notability. So I'm going to then tap on the three dots in the upper right-hand corner. I'm then going to send a copy of this to another program. So I'm going to tap Send a Copy. And then since it's a Notability file, I'm going to find Notability on that apps list, and I'm going to tap Notability. It's going to export the file. It's going to ask me, okay, what do you want to do with this? Since I'm going to Notability, I'm going to create a new note. I'm going to give it the name, and then I'm going to tap Import. It tells me that file was then sent to Notability, so I'm going to tap Done. And then now for me to be able to see it, I need to then go to Notability, and that assignment will show up. For me, since it was created on May 29th, it's shown up at the bottom. So I'm going to tap on it, and then now I can see this is the work that the student turned in. Okay. So next, we're going to look at, so that's a file that may not be supported on both devices. Next, we're going to look at the PDF option. So I'm going to tap on the PDF on the computer, and then I'm going to tap on the PDF on my iPad. So if I need to leave notes for the student and there's things on this PDF or even on the picture, because I could have done this with the picture as well, the Potter quiz picture we looked at first, I can add comments here. Now what it's going to do is it's adding comments within Google Drive. So then for the students to be able to view these comments, they're going to have to open this in Google Drive. And some of you may have found that out during our fun time this past spring, that students were saying they couldn't see any of your comments. That's because they have to go open it in Google Drive. So that's something you have to teach them. They're not going to know that automatically. So if this is the way you want to add in your comments, then just be sure you show the students this is where you go to find them. And it may be beneficial to send out some test and some practice assignments to your students at the beginning of the year, if you're using Google Classroom, so that they get used to how to use this program, just like you're having to learn how to use it. Don't assume anything. Don't assume that they know how to do it and that they've been taught. They may have, but they may have slept since then. So a friendly reminder is not going to hurt. It's only going to help. So if I wanted to add a private comment, I can click on this add a comment up here at the top. And it tells me highlight an area where I want to comment. So if I want to comment on this ballpoint pen option, I would highlight and then I would type in my note. This is your feedback. And I would tap comment. Again, this is living in Google Drive. It's not actually living on that file because I can't see it in the file I have open on my iPad. So I could go through and make all of those comments. But again, they have to open it in Google Drive to be able to see it. If they're using a computer, it is a little bit easier. They can see those comments. They should be able to see those comments when they open their document. But if they're using an iPad, they're not just going to show up. They have to then open that file, open that attachment in Google Drive to be able to see it. And we'll see that in just a minute once we return this to them. On the iPad, however, you have another option available to you. You can actually mark up the document yourself. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, there is a pencil icon. If you tap on that, what it's going to do is it's going to create a copy, an edited version of the student's work. Okay, so up here in the right, you've got undo, redo, and save. Once I actually start writing, those buttons should become a little bit clearer. So if I needed to make a note, again, like I did before, I can, at the bottom of the screen, I have a marker, I have a pen, I have a marker, and I have a highlighter. So what I would choose to do is change the color so the students knew that these are my notes. So I can write actually on the document. And then where I did over here, this is a note. I can say, good job. And what you may want to do so that they know that it's your notes is you can either initial it somehow or do something, write it in a different color so the students know that that's how they're looking for your comments. And you need to undo, redo, you can. This doesn't save automatically. It saves when you're done and you actually hit the save button. I would not hit save till you're completely done with it because every time you hit save, it makes a new copy. It's just one of the things with the iPad version. So you've made your notes, and depending on you, it may be faster or easier for you to write your notes on the iPad back to students for feedback, or you may like to type them in. It's a personal preference. Just make sure your students know where they need to go to find their feedback. So I'm going to tap save in the upper right-hand corner. Notice it added edited to the beginning of that file name because it's not changing what the students turned in themselves. What it's doing is making a copy of it and adding that to the file listing now that you see. So now I see edited note May 27th, and that's the version that the students will be able to see that I made changes to it. So again, got to teach the kids, I'm going to write on your work to give you feedback. You need to look for the edited version is what I am giving you your feedback. You may even write it in the comment. Write a private comment that says, look at the edited version of the note to see your feedback. So what I'm going to do is we are going to return this to the student. I want to make sure that it is good on the computer. So I'm going to refresh, and I should see 4 attachments. There we go. I see all 4. So now I'm going to return. I'm only going to return in one place. I'm not going to return in both. Again, on that image as well, you can do the add a comment. If the student had turned in a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, or a Google Slide, you could also add comments in that way as well. So we're going to return this. I'm going to return on the computer. And, oh, I didn't give a grade. Let me give a grade. It's a 90. And then return. Then return. And so now what I'm going to do is on my iPad, I'm going to show you what it looks like from the student side, because more likely than not, our kids are going to be using hopefully going to be using their iPads to view their work and turn work in. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to that assignment under classwork, and that was the Potter quiz. My work lives in the Your Work section, so I'm going to tap on that arrow to open up Your Work. And then there is my grade, and then I can see the attachments that got sent back to me. So remember, on the note version, the regular PDF, this is the one where I added in the private comments on the computer. So I'm going to open that one up first so that I can try to find those private comments. So first I want you to notice stuff's highlighted, okay? If I tap on those highlights, I can't see anything. I can't do anything with it, okay? I'm tapping. Tap, tap, tap. Nothing's happening. So what I need to do is I need to open this, like I said, in Google Drive to then see the comments that go with it. So again, got to teach the kids how to do this. Share this video with them so that they can see how to do this. So we're going to click on the square in the upper right-hand corner, the share arrow. It's going to then open that PDF file in Google Drive. And if you notice, those highlights went away. But what you're looking for is in the upper right-hand corner, there is the comment icon. So you're going to click on that comment button, and then you'll see those comments are going to show up down at the bottom. Now notice, it doesn't tell you where they were in association with that. Let's go. No, stop. They don't show you where the highlights actually happened. So I'm going to tap on comment again, and then I can actually read the comments that go with it, but I can't see what was highlighted. So I don't know what is a good job, and I don't know what is this is feedback. Just if you use it, teach your kids where to go to find the stuff, okay? Again, don't assume that they know how to do it, okay? And then I'm going to look at next the one that I marked up on the iPad. So I'm going to tap on the edited note. And now I can see the red circles, my notes, my initials, and I can see what I actually marked up. And then if need be, if I'm a student, I could mark up this again and then send it back to the teacher if I needed to. So that's an option as well. So giving feedback to students, you've just got to figure out what is the route you want to take, what's going to work best for you and your students. Is it going to be the comments within the document? Maybe, maybe not, depending on what kind of devices they're using. It may be harder for them to find. Is it going to be marking up the document on the iPad and then sending that back to the student? It could even be writing a note on a white screen or in Notability, and then attaching that to the document if writing is faster for you than typing. Or you can even add private comments as well to give the comments and the feedback back to your students. I would say the more comments and feedback you can give back to them, the better for them to improve and do a better job for the next time. Or even if you give them the option to say, hey, fix this or resubmit it for me and I'll adjust your grade. So work with them as well as you see fit. It's your class. Those are just your different options that you have available to you in grading assignments in Google Classroom.